their release on Thursdays in the afternoon to the early evening. And I am an ophthalmologist, and I actually became interested in aesthetic medicine because my father was a plastic surgeon. And ophthalmologists were the first to use Botox, believe it or not, and that's how they discovered that it got rid of wrinkles, because people who have blepharospasm, where they can't keep their eyes open, were given Botox, and then they discovered that, oh, it froze the muscle and it got rid of the wrinkles. So, I'm going to talk about some ways for rejuvenation with that are pretty non-invasive. So Botox, what is Botox? Botox is an attenuated botulism toxin that actually freezes muscles. So any lines that are caused by dynamic movement or movement of muscles, Botox will freeze them. So I'm going to show you a couple of examples. This woman had wrinkles in her forehead and made those angry lines, we call them the 11 lines, and had Botox, and you can see in the picture below that she can't make any of that movement anymore. These are the 11 lines, a deep crease, and then that's after Botox. The lines on the forehead, also 11 lines, an angry line there. You can see the lines creating a nice, smooth,
that's amazing.
Forehead. Another one. And this one, her forehead is completely smooth now. One there. There's also another nice one of those lines. And this is my very young office manager who decided that she's starting to have those lines finally at 28. So. There are 3 manufacturers of Botox. They really all work about the same. They all are complex with different proteins, egg in one, or like an albumin. One is with a milk-like product, and then the other one actually has the smallest protein that it's complexed with, and it's called Zeamin. That's what Christy Brinkley uses. She is their role model. I think they all work effectively. Sometimes I switch people between the brands because people get used to what they're getting and they might get a better effect with just a different formulation if they've been doing it for years and years and years. Does anyone have any questions about Botox? Botox is the #1 procedure after hair removal. Laser hair removal. The next one is Botox. Yes?
So, like, laugh lines like here, that's not Botox?
That's not Botox.
That's not
That
Botox.
is a static line. So that you could have any of these, Juvederm, Restylane, Radiesse, or Bellafill.
Okay.
Now the differences between these are basically, they're different companies. There are different thicknesses to the fillers. So for areas that have finer lines, the filler is going to be finer. For areas that are bigger, deeper, you're going to need a more hardy filler. The Bellafill itself lasts for up to 5 years.
What? I'm sorry. Okay.
Sometimes a great filler for somebody who's really old because they may not want to get filler. I mean, if you're like 65, you might be like, no, this might be my one-shot deal. But each vial of filler is only the size of a teaspoon of product. So every decade that we live, we lose a teaspoon. So somebody who's 50, it's not unusual to have 5 vials of filler between the cheeks, the lines here, the lines underneath the eyes, the lips. So I'm going to show you some examples of how we use filler. So our next, cheeks. So everything descends. So if you want something that rejuvenates you, that doesn't look overdone, enhancing your cheeks, I would say it's probably one of the #1 procedures that I do. This woman had a dog bite. On this side of her face, it was very flat, very different than that side. We injected Radiesse. She wanted a real lift. This is actually immediately after. So she doesn't really have any bruising. It's just, it will soften. It won't, but she actually really liked it like that. It's very prominent. That's sort of what she was looking for. This is a little more subtle. You can see the cheeks are flat. You have lines here. And now when you fill in here, it just gives you a nice little lift. I'm going to show you the picture from the side with those really nice high cheekbones, because it just gives you basically a liquid lift. This picture here, you can see the lines here around her mouth, and that answers your question about fillers. So, and I think she has Restylane lift in her face. And she does it, she also does her lips. I don't think in this picture she had her lips done. She just did around her face, there and there. You can also add filler in the tear troughs. There's a depression here. It's better on my picture if you want to see. It's just on the screen it's becoming kind of greenish for some reason, but so that really enhances that. Another tear trough. This is immediately after, just to sort of demonstrate you do get some filling. It'll get better over time, but also it's really not that bruised. I did this with a cannula. I made a little needle mark and then went in with a little cannula that just is a blunt dissector. So I get a lot.
It's better over time. It takes a couple days for it to work.
To settle.
Yeah.
So basically, this is actually me. Had really bad bags, and this is after filler. That was the first time I had filler under my eyes, so it was pretty dramatic. So now I keep it up.
That's you? That's you?
Yeah.
Wow.
So now we have lips. So this person wanted fullness. So people have different reasons for lips. Either lip lines, they have no lip. As they age, you'll see different age groups. This is a what happened to this now? What happened before? It doesn't like lips. It likes hands. It just doesn't like these lip pictures. Huh. So weird. Well, I'll show you some lips. I'm not sure why some lips are better than others. This is immediately after. You do swell up, it will go down. But just think it's the most delicate area to inject between that and then under the eyes. This is more uncomfortable than under the eyes. It's actually very painless. Lips is a little uncomfortable, but the tissue just swells immediately. But it'll go down, and it'll be like, she had no upper lip, as you can see. I'm not sure why my other lip picture's like, I'll try to go back in a minute. Weird. Do you think that's weird? Huh. Really strange. So this is hands. A lot of older women don't like that they have bony fingers. So we actually inject in between, like in the webs here, and it makes your hand look a little more youthful. I actually have one patient I inject her feet. But she's very happy with it. She is obsessed with her hands and her feet. She does not do anything else. There are other ways. A lot of people as they age, they get loose skin. So there's something called ThermiSmooth and ThermiTight. It uses radio frequency to tighten the skin. This is around the eyes after 5 times, and you get actually a little tightening of the skin. Now, what happens though with ThermiTight or ThermiSmooth, you have to sort of maintain it. Like do it once every 6 weeks to keep the skin tightening. Because basically every time you rub your eye, you stretch it. But it's a really painless way to tighten little areas of skin that are lax. I'll show you some other pictures of that. So this lady, you might want to see it on my picture, but there's like laxity in here, and she's gotten some tightening from doing ThermiSmooth of her legs. she was very sick, but she was very obsessed with her fat here. And because I might have thought of doing fat, like Cabela, which melts fat, but she was too sick to have that. She couldn't do ThermiTight, which is minimally invasive. It uses a wand that goes underneath your skin and heats the tissue to a designated temperature, and then it causes tightening and fat melting over time. But she was too sick to do that. But she was really happy to get rid of this little gobble there, and she just thought it was fantastic, and she was 86.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Never look 86.
She was pretty good.
And this is ThermiTight, which is the one with the wand. And this is this lady's feet. She has like no real definition up here. It's starting to tighten, and she had like this little protrusion here that's actually tightened. This is a month after her procedure. And so basically what we do is make a little incision behind the ear and underneath the chin, and we use this like little probe, like a pen, goes underneath the skin, heats, and then it's like 60 degrees centigrade. There's a lot of numbing medicine that's underneath the skin as well, and then over time it continues to tighten for up to 2 to 3 years. This is another gentleman who had that. See, he has like his chin here, there's like no definition, a lot of fat, and now he's starting to have contouring there. And this gentleman, you can see he didn't have any weight loss, but it looks like he lost about 20 pounds. So
That's crazy.
and he had a little dimple in here. So that was ThermiTight. It's a one procedure, one and done, we call it.
Wow.
And this is Cabela, which is an enzyme that melts fat. So you see she has all that fat in there. This is about 6 to 8 weeks afterwards. No weight loss. So Cabela involves like multiple, like maybe like, it's actually very quick. It's like maybe 20 or 30 little injections. And at first, it makes everything kind of jiggly because it melts the fat, and then it dissolves, and then basically that jiggly, like liquid fat has to be absorbed by the body. So that takes about 6 to 8 weeks. This is bra fat, which is really hard for all the people who come here, and myself included, that we work out all the time, but you know, menopause hits and people get fat like right around the bra and in the back. And so Cabela can be used to melt that away. So you can see right here, and see now there's no more fat. That's about 2 months after. It actually, when the Cabela works, it's a little sore for a couple of weeks. It's like strangely sore. You're like, oh, I don't know. But it's actually, I think, the absorption of the fat and a little bit of swelling of the tissue. But I think this is where the procedure really rocks, is the bra fat. Because there aren't that many procedures or even like exercises that get rid of it. I also have a laser. I don't do the laser here. I do it in my other office down the street. But all those coupons that we have are good for either office. We have lasers that get rid of brown spots. This lady has a huge brown spot on her, it's actually called melasma, of her whole cheek. And this is after about 4 or 5 treatments. That is, you know, and what happens is the melanin goes higher in the dermis, or the skin, and then it flakes off a little bit. And then you treat again another month later, and another layer sort of flakes off. So it's multiple treatments that you need to have. We also do veins. Now, people always complain, they come back the first time we do it, the first couple of days, the veins are gone, but the veins have to seal off. So it takes multiple treatments to actually get the veins to close. This is after 3 treatments on this patient. So you can see exactly, see the little marker vein here is the same as the one here, and we have like a really nice result. Lasers can also be used to help tighten the skin, because heat the laser is just light instead of heat energy, and that also stimulates collagen and skin tightening. So any of the laser procedures also help with skin tightening and building and generating collagen. We also do hair removal, but that's not, we do not that much of it, but it can be done if you wanted to have it done. Pictures of that are not too bad. I also do eyelid surgery, blepharoplasties, being an eye surgeon. As you can see, she had like a lot of fullness up here, and now you can see her baby blues, and now she can wear mascara nicely and makeup. And the same with her. She's very actually young, but had like this very heavy upper lids, and now she too, you can see her brown eyes and her lashes. Why some of these pictures show up and some don't. This is another person who had a fullness here and actually a little droopy eyelid, and I actually had to lift up the muscle a little bit to get it to be not so, so you can see the pupil a little bit better, and so it was a little more complicated, but you remove the excess skin, and in her case lift up the muscle for the droopy eyelid. This is another older gentleman, and we got rid of the excess skin for him too. So you can see his baby blues. And these are my little helpers. That's Morgan and Colby. Does anyone have any questions?
The eyelids is something that happens over time. So
Yes, yes, it's like an aging process. Although some people it's hereditary. Like one of the girls, it was, she was pretty young.
Yeah.
She was like in her 30s when she had that. She just didn't like it and wanted to wear makeup.
Yeah.
But we have these coupons, and we'll leave them at the front desk for people as they leave. And so make sure you get one when you leave. And it's good for $45 off. So basically, you get today for free.
Yes, basically, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.